data miner kata. Hello and welcome to another exciting Bringing the Thunder. We're doing another kata exercise, and today with me I have a new guest. So I'm quite enthusiastic to see what you have to tell us. So I'm joined here with Toon, I believe.
Yes.
Toon, so can you tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do at Skyline?
Well, first of all, I'm happy to be here, Jan.
Yeah.
I'm an agile coach actually at Skyline, but I won't come talking to you about agile coaching today.
I mean, always welcome for any topic.
It's hard to make exercises on that. But before I was an agile coach, I actually developed a lot on data miner cube stuff, and in particular, I did a lot of work on visual overview.
Right.
I'm also the expert hub leader there,
Right.
so I'm still pretty involved. So we're gonna get started with some basic visual overview things.
So you've got an exercise prepared for us
Yes.
concerning Visio, so visual overview. So I'm already going to guess a prerequisite is probably that you have Visio.
Yes, so the visual software is one, and for this particular exercise, all you require is a data miner system with a basic Microsoft platform.
Okay, so that's the total prerequisites. Have a data miner system. Could that be a DOS, for example?
Yes, exactly. So the easiest way to have just a Microsoft platform element is just to run data miner as a service, set one up, and it comes with an element.
Okay. All right. So, assuming everyone following has those prerequisites, I think we can jump in and have a look at the exercise then. So what have you got for us? What's the first step?
Well, the first step, of course, is opening your desktop app. So I actually spun up a DOS myself.
Okay.
So it's going to connect to my VO kata. That stands for Visual Overview.
Okay. Right.
I have to wait out the connection, and then we can get started with a blank Visio.
Right. So what's the goal of today then? So we're going to be making a Visio from scratch, or are we editing an existing one, or what are we hoping to achieve at the end?
Yeah. So we're going to start from scratch so that you learn how to work with visual overview, and mostly Visio in particular. We're going to learn how you connect shapes to data miner objects.
Right.
We're going to make some basic element shapes, give them the alarm color, show a parameter value. Right. And then we're also going to try to make it nice and reusable by grouping shapes together. Right. And that's going to be the most advanced part of this exercise. And then we're going to maybe do some cleanup if we have some time as well.
And maybe, I mean, we jumped in because that's what we do, but maybe there's someone out there who has only recently started working with data mine, and they've mostly been seeing katas about low-code apps, dashboards. So what is visual overview, Visio? Why and how are we using that in our data miner setup? Like, what should I imagine there?
Yeah. So Visio in itself, the Visio application. So we'll here is referred to visual overview on one hand and Visio on the other hand.
Okay.
Visio is an application from Microsoft.
Right.
It's mostly used for flowcharts, but you can also very easily make drawings in there.
Okay.
And it has what you call shape data.
Okay.
That's a feature in Microsoft Visio, and we're going to be using that to link shapes, drawings to actual data miner objects.
Right.
And then we go to data miner cube, where we see the visual overview that represents our drawing, but it's going to be enhanced with that linking. It will be dynamically showing values, alarms, things like that.
Right. So making a drawing using that visual overview application, but then that drawing is visible on data miner as your element or as your service or anything like that, a view, whatever.
Exactly.
So, okay. I see we've loaded up.
Yeah.
So maybe let's take a look and what are we up to?
So this is the default protocol Visio for the Microsoft platform element.
Okay.
I'm going to throw it away, even though it looks incredible. But I want to show you how to make one yourself. So
all right.
I'm going to right-click in the visual overview.
Okay.
And then go to set as active, and you can choose here between the protocol and the element Visio file.
Mm-hmm.
If you do it for a protocol, it will be the Visio for all elements of that protocol.
Right.
So I don't actually want that if I would have my multiple Microsoft platform elements.
So we're just going to try and make something now using just the element. So,
exactly.
Okay.
And if you're happy with that Visio, you could maybe apply it on the protocol level, so all of the elements have it as well.
Okay, so for people who are doing this exercise, you would recommend that they follow along using a Microsoft platform element, so we can do the same data, shape, linking, all of that. Okay.
Preferably.
So make sure you do that one.
All right, and then we'll go to new blank, and it's going to ask us, do you want to assign a new drawing?
Yes.
I'm going to click yes. And then it automatically opens Microsoft Visio.
Handy.
And it loads the new blank file. If I tap back to Dataminer Cube, you can already see it's actually loading my previous blank Visio, but I'm going to be making a new one. And a little issue you can have with Visio in particular. And it now closed my Visio. That's not the intent.
Okay. So
I'm gonna do it over again because apparently Microsoft Visio crashed. And that can happen. Another thing I was gonna show is that if you minimize Visio, there's a bug, which means you cannot open it again by clicking the thumbnail here. Then you have to actually go to the thumbnail and right-click and click Restore to bring it back. And I know many people encounter this, so I just want to point it out.
No, it's good. I mean, it is. From Dataminer and Skyline perspective, it's a third-party app, and it's not always possible to fix everything with something else. We can make some issue tasks for them, but that's it. Yeah. But anyway, so we're up and running. I think we've got the default Visio open here of the new blank.
Yes, so it starts off with two shapes. I won't go into that. I'll just Control-A and delete everything.
Really starting from scratch.
Yes.
Excellent.
And then I will go to the Tools bar here at the top, and I will select the ellipse because I want to make a nice circle.
Right, so we're drawing already.
Yes, so I click, drag, and now I have a circle. It's filled with a white color. It has a black border. That's about it.
Yeah.
Now that I have that, I want to link it to an actual Dataminer object. So for that, I want the shape data. So if I right-click this shape, you go to Data, and you click Define Shape Data.
Yes.
It brings up a pop-up. The two things we're interested in here are the labels and the values.
Okay.
In this case, we want to link to what? To an element.
Right.
So I type in element in the label, and its value is what exactly? The name of the element.
Okay, or
the ID.
I wasn't sure what we're ending up with.
Yes.
So you're trying to link it to an element to display the name. That's our intention.
And in this case, I don't need to display the name. This is just to link the object to the actual element. I can then still choose what I want to display.
Okay. So we're just linking to the element now, not yet.
So you'll see there's no text in there yet. So if I just hit enter to confirm, and I save the entire thing, you can also use this, of course. And I go back to Dataminer Cube.
Okay.
We see the same exact shape, but it's colored. It's colored with the alarm color of my Dataminer.
So by default, it will, if you just link it to the element, it will by default link to the alarm color and use that, or link to the alarm and create a color based on that. Okay.
Yes. So it will link to the state of the element.
Cool. All right.
That's step one done.
Yeah, I mean, you already have a picture and it's linked to something, which is already very powerful and great. So the next step there would then be, I'm guessing, more drawing and more linking.
Exactly. So we're going to add one more shape, and it's going to be the parameter value. So for that, I'm gonna draw a rectangle so I can fit the text in there.
Yes.
And important in this case is to actually enter an asterisk in my shape.
Okay.
The asterisk will kind of serve as a placeholder because it will be replaced eventually by the parameter value.
All right. So kind of just saying here's a wildcard or a placeholder and it's going to be replaced. Okay,
exactly.
Makes sense.
I'm going to do the same thing. Right click, go to data, define shape data. This time around though, I want a parameter. So I'm going to enter parameter. Right. And let's say we want the total processor load of our Microsoft platform element.
So either the name or the element ID or parameter ID?
Actually, it's only the parameter ID.
Just the ID.
In this case. So you can find that in the protocol or in the details of your parameter indeed. I know this one by heart. It's 350.
Impressive. Do you always know that by heart or just today?
Just this one.
Yeah, I imagine. Okay. So 350 as the parameter ID, which will be, what was it, CPU? Or
the total processor.
Yes, great.
That's it.
That's it.
We could also add the element shape data in here, because now we know the parameter ID, but we don't know the element.
Yes.
But we can also do that in a different way. And that's where efficiency comes into play. If you ever want to link to another element, or you want both of these shapes to link to the same element at all times, and you want to change that sometimes,
right?
You actually want to group them together. So first I'm going to go to this shape and remove the element shape data.
Okay.
I'm going to right click, go to data, and I can here open the shape data panel. I already have it open, so you'll see in my case it disappears instead. So I'll bring it back.
All right, it's an okay.
And here at the bottom, you can see it says element, my data miner agent.
Right.
I'm just going to copy this for later.
Okay.
And then put in an asterisk. An asterisk means I will look at the parent, I will explain in a second what that is, of my shape to see what I need to link to.
Okay. Okay.
In the case of the parameter shape, it already knows it needs to look at the parent because otherwise it has no context for the parameter.
Okay, so just default parameter with a number will already know because the video is active on an element.
No, actually now, if I now save it, I can do that.
Would it show something?
It will not show anything.
Oh, okay, I misunderstood. Okay, so that's what we're doing now. We're grouping things together. And
yes,
then on
now we still need to link the entire thing.
And on the parent, we'll then add the element.
So now I just click, drag to select both of these shapes. And I will right-click, go to group.
Yes.
And then click group. Simple as that.
Nice.
And now what I get is actually a shape also that contains two other shapes. And it has its own shape data.
And now in the parent, you can add things that then get bubbled down, as it were. No, bubble up. You don't bubble down. I suppose we go down.
We go down, but...
we go down, yeah.
In code logic, it will look up to see what it has to link to. Okay. So go to define shape data, and this should be familiar. Enter element, and then the name, my data miner agent, which I still had copied to my clipboard.
And now
click OK.
And now,
yes. Now we see we have our shape linked to an element. I can actually hover over it, and you see the entire...
It's seeing it as a single group.
Yes, exactly. So now I can right-click. You can do the same actions as you find in the surveyor on these things. You can so you can really see it's dynamic. It's linking to that object.
Okay, that's great. And I'm gonna guess just a question here, because we added a placeholder with a star. Does that mean I could like put it to the front or the back, or you know, change the size with that placeholder as well? Is that a thing, or?
So indeed, if I
just align
this to the left, for instance.
So the alignment
and modify the text. I can also put other text in there to say, okay, my CPU is this value.
Okay. All right, it's really flexible then. Okay, that's great.
So now you can see it's aligned to the left and it says CPU 2.3%.
Nice. Okay.
And it updates as well. So every time a new parameter value comes in, you'll see the value changing.
All right. So automatically, that keeps updating.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's more or less the basic gist of it.
You can make a shape and you can link it, but it's really flexible and powerful. Yeah. You can say it in one sentence, but what you can do with it can take years.
Definitely.
I pretty much, because if I can compare it a bit, so I've seen a lot of the low-code apps and the dashboards. That's really powerful and flexible in that you can use pre-created modules and pre-created shapes that do stuff. This is flexible on a whole different level. This is flexible as in you can draw whatever you want.
Yes.
So if you're a better artist than me, you could draw an entire painting on this and have it linked to your data miner and you know,
and fill up in different colors.
Yeah. Go even more wild than you can with the low-code apps. So it seems to both have really a specific niche and a purpose there. That's awesome to see.
Yeah. So you can really become an expert in this.
Make some amazing stuff.
Maybe just to wrap up, what we can do is show some of the common options you might be using to make this a bit cleaner. For instance, generally, if you draw a shape on the left that shows the color, the alarm state color of the element, you don't really want this text box to do the same thing.
Okay, so how
maybe I only want to click this.
How do you disable that? Yeah.
So let's go to that. For this, I'm going to first disable the group shape.
Okay.
So that I can no longer click it.
Okay.
Now I'm in the group shape. That was not intentional. I want to go to my shape data. I will add new shape data, and it's called enabled.
All right. So we leave the group. So we need the group for the element info.
Yeah.
But you can simply disable it as a clickable thing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just want to be able to click the little ellipse on the left and not the actual parameter,
Yes.
because it's kind of unexpected to then just open an element.
Yeah, especially if you group more than one, if you've got like 10 shapes,
Yeah.
you probably want every shape to do separate things.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So the value here is very simple. It's a Boolean, so it's false. Of course, I want the things in my group, and for that I will right-click group and then open group, which opens this. I just get my two shapes. If I want to go back, I can close it here, but you can also click this little switch windows icon here, and you can see I'm now in the group, and I can go back to the main page.
Okay, they're at the bottom. Okay.
Yeah. But what happens is, now that I've enabled the group, disabled the group, that will trickle down to the shapes inside it, and they will also be disabled.
And now you need to overwrite it.
Exactly. So now I need to enable this one. Set enable to true.
Yeah. That makes
And now
sense.
if I save the entire thing, you will see this one is enabled.
And this one is not. Perfect. Okay.
And then another little trick for this clickable area. You can see now it has a square around it,
Yes.
which meh.
You can make that better?
I can make that a bit better by
Let's make it better.
if you work from Data Miner Cube, so you can make Visio files by just opening Microsoft Visio.
Yes.
But remember, we started by going to Data Miner Cube and opening Visio from there.
Right.
If you do that, you will get a panel in your Microsoft Visio that is actually hosted by Data Miner Cube.
Ah, okay. So you get kind of like an additional editor specific for this. Okay.
And there's some specific things in here. You can find, for instance, if you have no shape selected, all of the page data's in here.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I was going to
All
ask.
of the shape data's.
I was gonna ask where you can find, or where is everything documented, and where you can find every option in there. Cause
Yeah, of course, all of the options are also documented in our user guide. That's generally where I go.
yeah, so
because
on
that has
the
explanations
docs you can probably find
Yeah.
visual overview and then everything you want.
Yeah, very extensive.
Very extensive. Well,
This
it is-
tutorial will also be on there.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Well, extensive but flexible, and it's been around for a while.
Yeah.
So we've done a lot with it, and it's served us a lot. It's given quite some value already. So it's interesting to see it again as an exercise here. It's been a while since I worked with it, so
All right, so what I will do now is I will make sure I have no shape selected, and then we have 3 dots here at the top of this panel.
Okay.
And I can click that. And I can add theming, which allows you to link certain colors here to certain colors in Data Miner Cube, and it will switch when you switch theme. It will also take up the different
cool.
colors.
So yeah, if you take a dark theme or something, and okay.
That's theming. I won't go into that right now, or I won't use it. The thing I want is the pretty hover, is what we called it.
Pretty hover. Okay.
So that adds this option, options hover type equals geometry. And if I save that, you will see it now follows.
Nice.
my
Okay.
circle.
A small one, but a nice one. Eh?
Yeah,
Especially if you have a lot of stuff.
One that generally you want to enable for your entire page, so that's why we allow it on the page. You can also do it on the shapes.
All right, because again, it bubbles down or it bubbles up, whatever you want to
Yes.
call it, to everything that inherits from the parent.
Indeed.
So yeah, cool.
All right.
All right.
And then the final thing
Yeah, sure.
is making sure this rectangle is no longer green.
Changing the
just
color.
white, for instance.
Okay.
For that, I will open the group again. And then we have the very extensive, it has its own page with an entire list of shape data options.
Okay.
So there's options, and one very popular option is no alarm color fill, which
Okay.
does exactly what it sounds like.
Well, just to check here, would you be able to, because we're drawing shapes, would you be able to just change the background color of this shape? And would that also work? Or is that not a thing?
No, if I change the background color, so let me remove
It
it
gets
again.
overwritten by the alarm color.
Exactly.
I
So if I make this yellow,
Yeah.
it will still be green.
Unless you turn off that that alarm. Then it'll be yellow, or?
Then it will be yellow indeed.
Cool. Okay, I think I get it. Makes sense. Quite logical indeed. Yeah.
There we go. Beautiful drawing.
Well, it shows it does what it has to do. It's an exercise. It's a kata.
Exactly.
It gets it back in your fingers if you haven't done it for a while. If you've never done it, then it's a very good first step. Was there anything else on this exercise you wanted to go into?
No, not right now. Maybe some other time. Next exercise.
Hey man, you're always welcome. And I really love catching up on things that I haven't used in a while. And I also love teaching everyone who is watching how you can do this stuff. So should we say they take a screenshot of this and send it in and they'll get some DevOps points?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a good way to get your points.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Make sure these are clickable and these are not.
Yeah.
Then we are gold.
Make sure you hover over one when you send the screenshots, just so that there's a little hand there. All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much for making some time.
You're very welcome,
actually
Jan.
doing this. Everyone watching, indeed, take a screenshot of that. We'll get you your DevOps points if you send that in. We're getting away from marketing. So if you are watching on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And other than that, I think I'll get you on the next one then. So have a nice one. Goodbye.
All right.